Ladies and gentlemen, get live. Boys and girls, we're about to here start the show. Get ready to discuss for Weebs of the Ring episode 20 for Friday night Smackdown of April 12, 2024. Discussion of Smackdown. Where is the Smackdown after Mania? Tonight, we have the number one contender match for AJ Styles versus LA Knight round 2 coming this week of next week Friday night SmackDown. And Naomi versus Bailey. Oh, that's gonna be a good one. And we had a few stories progression going on. Can there be a coming out of War Games coming up down the line of Bloodline versus Bloodline? What can they lead? What can they lead up to? And we had a debut of a certain family member, and we have a possible SmackDown Tag Team titles debut matches next week. So let's get to discussion of what happened tonight's show, and let's get ready for the Stampede of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. Without further ado, let's get to it.
With anime in their souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a trio of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds. Grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience like none other. Brought to you by AniMa W3 Studio, this is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. And tonight we have our lovely, awesome, fantastical panel of, oh man, I almost said judges, but we're all co-hosts here. We're all great. We're all fine. So, starting things off, the lights come down. He's ready now. Enter Watkins to the crowd. That is me, of course. And no, they didn't want none of Legend D. Vash. And being accompanied to the ring by his special counsel buddy, drop of this box. Guys, I hope you guys had a great week. We are done with WrestleMania. It's in the rearview mirror. I see the chat popping off. Welcome, JR. Hopefully you're having a good day as well. But I gotta talk to my co-hosts. Guys, how you doing? How does it feel coming off of WrestleMania this year?
Honestly, it feels very refreshing because like I said in like one of the tweets that I posted when SmackDown was going on, it really does feel like a new era because there's only two champions that came out of Mania with their titles, which was Rhea and Logan Paul, but the rest of them, a whole bunch of new champions. So that means like a whole bunch of new feuds, a whole bunch of new stories to be told. It's not the same thing that we saw all the time, like it was just rinse and repeat. Like it just feels really refreshing, and it just gets me really excited to see what Triple H honestly has prepared for us. I mean, just this week alone set up a lot of things that gets a lot of people excited, especially with what we saw with today's episode of SmackDown. It just gets me like even more like hyped to see what's going to be happening. I mean, we have the draft towards the end of the month. That's always a nice thing to see. And we have a pay-per-view next month, which is Backlash. We also have King and Queen of the Ring, which I know that was a Triple H move because Triple H loves King of the Ring. So it's going to be really nice to see that in action. But yeah, it's just nice. New era. Fresh air.
Oh man, and much like Ash going into the Johto region, it's a whole new place with a brand new attitude. But you still gotta catch them all. Isn't that right, Vash? Vash, how are you doing coming off of WrestleMania? I know, like, you haven't really been part of WrestleMania too much, or at least doing content with it. So how are you feeling coming off of this WrestleMania, one that people are touting as the best WrestleMania?
Like you're saying, as many people has been counted as this the best WrestleMania, it's been a pleasure watching it. WrestleMania 40, seeing the story progression, seeing where we have been, and now we enter the new era, like Triple H has said, like Cody has said, we enter the new era of where we are now, and I love what we're doing with the content of Raw and SmackDown already. NXT, what is the product that we're producing. So I'm so happy to see that. And Cody just coming out. I saw a tweet. I forgot who tweeted it out, but they said that it's nice to see the WWE champion on top of a suit and tie champion. Like, that's just amazing. Like, yeah, it's funny, like, saying that we don't need to see a guy with a hoodie and everything with the champion. But, like, it just looks really good on a suit and tie champion. Like, Cody just represent the company very well on both shows on Monday and Friday. He started off, and the pop was amazing to see. Like, just him holding the champion just has that good look, man. I love it.
I do too, and like kind of like what you were saying too. Like the crowd was hot tonight. Like Detroit, good on you, Detroit. You guys were on it tonight with just cheering on cheering on wrestlers and all that. Like being engaged with the show. I actually mentioned this to another group chat of mine when I was talking about the show a little bit tonight, and I referred to Backlash instead of referring it to Backlash. I referred it to France. I was just like, man, I can't wait for Cody to face AJ in France. And I'm just like, wait, I'm referring to WWE shows now as where they're going to be at instead of the show, which is a weird like transition in your mind to think about. Because it's like, being wrestling fans, we're trained to be like, okay, I can't wait for like Double or Nothing or, Backlash.
Or,
things like that. But it's like
Hell in a Cell, or Table Lessons,
exactly.
TLC. Everything back then, like, it had the event of being more important than the actual superstars.
Exactly. So it's just like, I don't know. There's just this switch. I think it's because of like the sports feeling that they're trying to get with it. But it's like, okay, I'm thinking of this more of, we're gonna face each other at Quebec. Like they're referring to Raw next week as, Sammy and Chad Gable are gonna face each other in Quebec. It's not like next week on Raw they're gonna face each other in Quebec. So it's like it adds just a certain air and a certain like different level to just the overall production of the company and of the story and just of what they're trying to get across with their new way.
I've started to realize it by last year when the Miz used to say that he debuted in the stadium. Chris Jericho saying it in his AEW events that this happened. So I've noticed that a lot of wrestlers are making where they go as well, like the event, the stadium, also part of their story. Like it also has an importance and a significance. With Sammy, this is where he comes from. This is his home. So he has the home field advantage. So I love how these things are being added to the story now as well.
And I also like too how like Chad is also tying Quebec in because and I think it was a tweet he sent out. It was like, yeah, Quebec means a lot to me too. That's where I technically beat Gunther. And it's like, wait, hold on. Was that where? And like I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, that was that victory. Oh, okay, all right. So there's history.
Yeah, the count out victory.
Yep. So I'm excited for that. But that's that's Monday. That we can talk about that on Monday when it happens. This is Friday. We have Friday Night SmackDown, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I was a little bit hesitant with SmackDown. Not that I thought it was gonna be bad, but like my hype wasn't there, and I think that was just me coming down from WrestleMania. But did they pull me around quite easily with this night?
Yeah, one of the things that I was looking forward to this week was seeing how Raw and SmackDown was affected after WrestleMania. And I gotta say, like, out of the two, and I did enjoy Raw on Monday, don't get me wrong. But I gotta say, like, out of the two, SmackDown probably got me, like, a little more excited because of what we got on tonight's show. And as I said earlier, it's just like it's fresh air, something new to
Yeah.
breathe in, something that we haven't really been able to see in like such a long time, because Triple H is like very vocal that this after WrestleMania is going to be the start of a new era. Makes sense. Whole set of new champions, new storylines. And I have a feeling with the draft that I spoke of earlier that we're going to be getting towards the end of the month is going to be very showing, especially with Triple H involved. He probably has certain things that he wants to place so it goes according to whatever blueprint that he has. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the draft. Looking forward to seeing like where everybody goes. I know before we started this, I don't remember who asked this, so I apologize for that. But one of us asked, where do we think Cody's gonna go?
Yes.
Is he gonna go to Raw, SmackDown? Where do we think he's gonna end up? So I'm actually gonna bring that question right here as we lead into how we started the night. Where do we think Cody's gonna end up in the draft? Like, is he gonna end up on Raw, SmackDown? Maybe NXT, not NXT, but hey, who knows, right? But
Honestly,
what are we thinking?
Honestly, I feel like he's gonna be on Raw, because I was talking about
Mhm.
this with Billy at work. I mentioned Billy a couple times on the show before. He was actually texting me on this phone. I'll get back to him a little bit later. But I was talking to him, and I remember it was like this before in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Mhm.
I always remembered the WWE titles just strictly being on Raw. At least to my knowledge,
Um,
because like I think he also told me as well that the World Heavyweight Championship was like shown quite a bit on there as well. But I'm
mhm.
also trying to factor in, since I've seen reports that like Becky's taking time off. Not saying that Becky has anything to do with like the main event on the men's side, but
Right.
Becky's taking time off, Seth's taking time off, Punk's still out. So it's like they need like somebody that brings a lot of eyes, and Rock's gone now because
Mhm.
he even said himself he's going to be gone for a little bit. I just feel like they're probably going to make Cody a mainstay on Raw, and he could bring that championship to Monday Night Raw. And I
Mhm.
have a feeling Bailey's probably going to end up over there as well. I could be wrong again. But to me personally, it just feels like a new playing field for her, because I just feel like, surrounding herself with people that she doesn't have any history with would be a little bit more interesting direction for her to go down. But I just personally feel
Mhm.
like Cody is going to be staying on Raw, only because I feel like they need him there a little bit more. Because at least with SmackDown, you got people like LA Knight over there. So if they
Mhm.
want to keep LA Knight over there, which I'm not 100% sure if they're going to do that or not, because I feel like he should move to Raw, give him a little bit change. I mean, Monday Night Raw, I mean, you already have a little
Right.
slang right there. But for example, like I said, you got people like LA Knight on there. You got people like AJ Styles. They have a lot of people over there on SmackDown. It's stacked. But I just
Mhm.
feel like when you start off the week, when it comes to WWE, the first thing you're gonna want to see is Cody Rhodes.
Right. Okay. What about you, Vash? What are you thinking?
With the draft is something that I've been most excited for since WrestleMania. Like I said it weeks before when we first started the show and during Weebs of the Ring episode 10 or so on. Draft is going to be interesting because right now, like we said on this past week Monday, they're treating NXT like a third division and also like an important division. So it's very interesting how things could be mix and match. Cody could land in Raw or SmackDown. I'm honestly okay if he stays on SmackDown because it will bring more views, and I don't mind if they switch it. Have the United States go back to Raw for a while. Have the WWE title stay in Raw. We haven't had that title in Raw for almost a couple of years, so it would be nice to see that there with
Mm.
with a nice face, and we have the Judgment Day switch over there. I'm curious to see if the Bloodline will stay there, because that'd be interesting.
Mhm.
That if the Bloodline and Judgment Day, how would that mix, or will the Bloodline follow Raw? Because that's also would be curious to see, since there's another storyline that's entangled with Cody, but not really at the moment. So it'll be all curious to see how the draft would be leading up to in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of split, to be honest. Because I could see both arguments to
Yeah.
it. To be honest, just for freshness, mainly for Cody freshness, I would say SmackDown, just because like that's just it's something different. You know, we've started off our Mondays for the past almost 2 years with Cody Rhodes, and nothing wrong with that. Like it's not like I'm getting tired of Cody, but like it would just be
Mm.
something fresh, something different, you know. And I mean, you could kind of say the same thing about Judgment Day, you know, moving LA Knight. I think the most important thing is because Cody's not going to be dropping this title anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
Like I think the most important thing is to move people like LA Knight or like AJ or hell even Kevin Owens, moving them to whatever brand the world heavyweight title is going to be, because that's more of a title that you can I don't want to say hot potato, because then, you know, that kind of cheapens the title a bit, but you can kind of change it a little bit more
Yeah.
then, and like have, you know, actually start building a lineage with it, you know. I mean, again, nothing wrong with what Seth did in the past year. It's just we can start adding names to it. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. But with all this Cody talk, let's start talking about SmackDown, because he started off our night coming out with giant woes everywhere. Again, Detroit was a fire, red hot crowd, and Cody's just like, he takes a moment to just kind of absorb the crowd, and like this is a big week for him, just finally getting that accolade that he and his family so rightfully have fought and tried their damnedest for, and finally deserved and earned. But yeah, he's basically out here to hype up the two triple threat matches for number one contendership. But man, he had some good lines in this promo, though.
I really love this
Yeah,
promo of how he first started out. Like, hey, we're in Detroit. And he said, well, it's not open mic it's not open mic night, bitch. And when I first heard that, I love it, because I first heard it in AEW. I did not know too much of the reference and everything. But once I heard it from Cody, I love it. It was a shout out to his wife there. It was just such a great moment just to hear Brandy's line and everything. So it was fire. That's my quick thing I wanted to mention. Like, that was amazing to hear.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a really funny line for him to bring up, because you know, Cody's like always like he just knows what to say on the mic. Like, he's a very good promo. He has a very good sense of humor. So, you know, him referencing that because his wife is from Michigan is, you know, it was actually pretty nice to see. It was really funny. And he also said it like with some sass as well.
Oh yeah. I like how afterwards he's just like, I apologize for cursing. I've been cursing a lot lately. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's just a little jab to the news stories being like, oh well, some people can cuss and others can't. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever. Um, speaking of that news story, did you guys see that? So another one came out regarding that, and it was basically saying that, yeah, top talent are allowed to use these sentence enhancers during promos. How you guys feel about it, like being
Li-
limited only to the top talent?
Like we've been saying, the top talent is the ones that get the TV time, and they know how to make promos. They know how to make their time used wisely. LA Knight, Cody, Roman, Rock, like these people, or Seth Rollins, all these people have learned how to be on the mic and use the time wisely. CM Punk gonna be cursing very soon. Is gonna be bringing numbers and time, and people are gonna be curious to see, not that they could curse, what else is his style gonna change? What's he gonna add? What is gonna be different? So it's gonna be very curious to see what is gonna happen next with his talent, and I love that very much because they're learning and leaning towards that. They don't have to be PG no more. This is a wrestling company. We're entertainment, but let's not restrict ourselves. And we've been saying this for weeks. They've been testing the waters, and it seems like the water and the data of this water has been working. They want to go now to the sea. They want to go across the pond.
Yeah, and I feel like they're probably like only gonna use like curse words when they're needed, because you know they're not gonna go out there and just say it with like every single sentence that comes out of whatever promo that they're on, because
Right.
in order to make it feel special, just like how we saw Blood with Cody and Rock a few weeks ago, you got to do it every so often so it hits. If you do it like on a regular basis, where it's like each person that comes out through the night, they're dropping an F bomb or they're calling someone an a-hole or whatever it is, it's gonna lose that feeling. But it's like if you get into like, let's use like LA and AJ Styles for example, you know, the way that their feud was, they both hated each other. You know, seeing two people like that go at it and cuss and call each other names and stuff like that, like you saw on like videos during WrestleMania week, where you know they cussed at each other and said things you don't normally hear on WWE TV. That makes sense. Like if it calls for it, do it. And like Vash alluded to, you know, once they're on Netflix, once Raw's on Netflix, then you're going to be getting into, you know, things that is going to have a different feel that we haven't seen in many, many years. Because with Netflix, they're not going to cut anything out. Like when you're watching it on like USA or Fox, and you have like that moment of silence for like 3 to 4 seconds or whatever, you're not going to hear that on Netflix.
You're getting that tonight too.
Yeah.
Like, poor crowds. Poor crowds.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna come across on a Wednesday night show and say you was grinding on the boss daughter, right? Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, that little chestnut.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to go on a little rant. I mean, one of my boys already went on a rant the other day.
Yeah.
Vash knows who I'm referring to. Shout out to JD there.
No, I saw his rant. I saw that.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. So it's like, hey, I love what Cody did. He came out. He brought the crowd. Everyone popped for him. So I love that. The way he was naming the crowds, it was pretty interesting because when he would say, I got my number one contender in a couple of weeks. So, you know, Backlash. And these are my opponents. AJ Styles. You cannot talk about AJ Styles without LA Knight. Then Santos Escobar. Everyone booed for him. I'm like, God damn. Nobody likes this man. It's like even the crowd, even Cody was trying to say like maybe we can have this guy win. Nope. Everyone said
they really
fuck Santos.
They really should be booing the Philadelphia Eagles, but you know that's neither here nor there.
True.
I am gonna be bitter till the very end. No.
One of the things I do want to mention when Cody was mentioning like the opponents that was involved in those 2 triple threat matches that we got tonight, I did like, and this is one thing I've been loving that WWE has been doing recently, is acknowledging what characters did outside of the company. Because when he mentioned AJ Styles, he mentioned that the both of them are former NWA World Heavyweight Champions. So it's like you already got like that sort of connection there with Cody and AJ. And fun fact here, if you ever watch the Stone Cold podcast, Stone Cold actually asked Cody what one of his dream opponents would be, and he did mention AJ Styles.
Yeah, so
hold on, wait a minute.
I love that he.
There we go.
I love that he gave that reference towards that because I haven't seen the matches. I don't know much about AJ Styles back in the past, but I heard the clips. I've heard the Bullet Club. I've heard of it, but do I know of it? Do I actually seen the fights and everything? No, but I'm excited to see this on the big screen, on the big premium live event, like Triple H wants us to say. Can't wait to see that. AJ Styles versus Cody on Backlash at France is going to be an exciting match. 20-30 minute match of these gentlemen is going to be exciting. And I just can't wait to see the elevation for Cody and the way AJ Styles, you know, gets his moment as well, since we know that this is his last run.
And also, the thing I wanted to mention as well is Cody and AJ will fill you in on the whole backstory with both of them and their careers and stuff
Oh,
as to
yeah.
building up their feud. So anything left out that you're unsure of, Vash, Cody and AJ will fill you in as they build their story into the next match.
I wonder if they're gonna use video packages from across Japan.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they showed Cody's time in
Yeah.
Japan when they did that special tribute for him on Monday. They
Yeah.
acknowledged it, so
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised.
It'll be interesting what they'll be able to use.
Yeah.
But man,
So-
I kind of hope they go into some Bullet Club stuff. Like even if they
They
don't
could.
like, outright name it, but even if it's just like kind of loosely referenced or whatever, or even like alluded to or whatever. Like, man, just give me some of that. Give me some of that action.
So
Oh, yeah.
JR, I understand. LA Knight and Cody could be good too, but AJ can be good.
oh yeah,
So I know we are gonna give our reasoning of why we all prefer AJ or LA, or out of the 6, what would have been nice. For me, for the choices, AJ would have been a great start first choice. Definitely, I would
yeah.
like to see Bobby down the line in the versus Cody. If anybody saw the video package of Damian Priest on YouTube today with his Money in the Bank cash in, Bobby is even interested in the World Heavyweight title as well. So that would be an interesting match in the future. KO versus Cody would be interesting as well. Santos versus Cody.
Why?
I'm not sure.
Mm.
I wouldn't. I'm kind of like sure whatever. If that does happen in the future, it depends on the build up. LA Knight versus Cody is more like. Drop said it earlier. It's hard to put a face versus a face. To have LA
Yeah.
Knight versus Cody, we would like to see it happen. But LA Knight first needs the United States champion or the IC title. He needs a mid-card title first to elevate him and to have a champion over him for a while and then go for the main title. He could go for the main title, but we don't want him to lose right now since this is Cody's time.
Yeah, that's
So
the
I
thing.
would-
Oh, no,
so
you're good.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's hard to do face versus face because it can be done before. What's really hard is doing heel versus heel, but that's a whole other different topic. But hey, you know what? Apparently Ryback's coming back next week to beat up Cody Rhodes.
Oh, okay. That'd be pretty nice.
Apparently. So, but I'm sorry, Drop. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, besides like the people that Cody referenced, who he might be possibly fighting at Backlash, we also have him mentioning The Rock as well, where he was like, "Rock, when you get back, I will be here." We do know that that's going to be a future program with the two, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this online. I did. I don't personally believe it because
WrestleMania? I hope not. I hope not.
yeah, because like what I was gonna say is I take what no disrespect to Meltzer, but I do take what he says with a grain of salt. But he
As
was
you
mentioning
should.
how Cody versus Rock is like planned for next year's WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I definitely feel like that's probably going to be a SummerSlam match, and then what you saw showcased tonight, which we'll get into later in the show, will probably build into that, and then you'll get him and Roman's match next year, because I think it's clear as day that Roman's probably going to return as a face now. But yeah, Cody and Rock, I would say definitely going to be a SummerSlam match because, you know, like Rock said, you and Roman's story's over. Me and your story, you know, just begun. So I definitely expect, you know, Cody to get a few, you know, good challengers throughout those months leading up to SummerSlam. Like you're gonna get, you know, him and AJ. Not entirely sure who after that. We got to see how the whole roster is shaped with the draft afterwards. But you know, him and AJ is gonna be a pretty good match. But I don't know. What do you guys like feel about like the whole Cody and Rock thing?
So-
The whole news that broke out.
I saw the same news report, and I feel like the Cody versus Rock should happen in SummerSlam. It should not happen for WrestleMania. If it happens in WrestleMania 42 or 43, sure. But I feel like for SummerSlam, I'm totally fine with it's coming up, or even a September, October type of vibes. But WrestleMania 41, it should be what's the build up for Rock and Roll, for what we're gonna continue conversation for the second main event story is of the Bloodline. We're gonna see more of the discussion, but it makes more sense of the Rock and Roll of the long term storytelling that Triple H has said and that Paul Heyman has said when the third inning, ninth inning, seventh inning, all these type of analogies of long term storytelling is meant for that. So to me, at the end of the day, Rock and Cody, SummerSlam. I'm all for it. Money in the Bank even, I have no problem. So around the time for SummerSlam in Cleveland will be a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we. Oh no, we probably would. Never mind. I could see it happening as late as Royal Rumble with Rock and Cody, and
that's possible too.
Yeah, but I could see that being part of like the build for Rock and Roman at Mania 41, because yeah, we'll get into that much more later. But I do want to, JR, thank you for this lovely little bit of comparing Dave Meltzer to the One Piece editors. You know what? I approve of that.
Yo, what's funny is like
some of Wano.
I have seen. I've been in the wrestling community very recently. I'm new to the wrestling community, so Dave Meltzer seeing the type of stuff one day, and then a week later it just be proven wrong, and I'm like, all the time these new reports, I just feel like they're all wrong, my guy. But hey,
well,
I just want to state that that's just my 2 cents on that, because
Meltzer always likes to just stir the pot. Like, a lot of his reports anymore, it's just like, oh, this was being talked about backstage, and then, like you said, he would get proven wrong by the person that he's reporting about. So it's just like, dude, who even are your sources? Like, you keep saying you have sources, but no, I don't want to get into a Dave Meltzer rant, because that's a whole different other topic.
That's a whole different topic for a different news show.
Yeah. But we keep mentioning AJ versus Cody, but the match hasn't really been set yet, but we're leading towards that. So how do we even get there? Well, like we were talking about, Cody's hyping up these number one contenders matches. We are getting 2 triple threat matches tonight on SmackDown, and the winners of those will face each other in a number one contenders match to face off Cody next week on SmackDown. So our first triple threat match, we had Santos Escobar versus LA Knight versus Bobby Lashley. And again, the winner goes on. This was a good match. I really like the chemistry that they had, and just they were each playing to their strengths, where it's just like, okay, Bobby Lashley, obviously the powerhouse of the trio there. Santos Escobar, he's the speedster. He's gonna, quickly get behind you and, counter something. And then there's LA Knight, who
he's kind of cheap for him.
That too, But then you have LA Knight, who's kind of acting the tactician, like picking his spots very carefully. They just had really good chemistry in this match, and it led to a really good opener, at least action-wise, for the show.
Yeah, I agree as well. One of the things I did notice that we had on the notes is like LA Knight didn't get his entrance. I'll be honest, I probably wasn't paying attention to the TV at that time, but I didn't even notice that. Well, that's just unheard of, because out of all those people, he would be the one getting the entrance.
Yep.
Because whenever you're on SmackDown, literally every single week, you have him coming out, and then he does his finger pointing where he's like LA Knight, and you hear the whole crowd erupt. And especially with how hot the crowd was tonight, it would have been massive, just like what we heard with Cody's was, just the whole energy of Detroit tonight. So that really caught me off guard. But, as you mentioned, Walkings, these a lot of them had a good chemistry with one another, and I did feel like the outcome was predictable because when you looked at how the triple threat matches were set up with LA Knight, Lashley, and Santos, and then you had AJ, KO, and Rey, which we'll get into in a little bit because that match was a banger, especially the ending of it.
Oh yeah.
You probably saw it coming that like, okay, LA and AJ were gonna have another face off again because out of the people that they added within those two triple threat matches, those two people made sense to win them only because those are the people they really have eyes on right now and they're actually putting some time into. And
I have to say, I have to add to that because Bobby would have been my second choice. The other choice for Santos to me wasn't that important because if LA Knight didn't win, Bobby would have been my second choice in this three-way.
He would have made the most sense if it wasn't LA.
Yeah.
And also even within that as well, it kind of looks like Legado is setting something up with the Pride as well. So they're already building into another story. So it wouldn't really make sense for just going off of that, because I do agree what you said. If LA didn't win, Bobby would make sense. But just going off of that, it seems like they're building up a story now with Legado and the Pride now. Now that just in case nobody's seen on NXT, but the Final Testament confronted Nathan Frazier and Axiom on NXT, so they have their business down there. So it looks like they're starting another storyline with the Pride and Legado on SmackDown.
By the way, a big shout out to Ivar. I just want to give a big shout out to Ivar from NXT.
Oh, that match is going to be great.
Oh,
and also shout out to Oba Femi. Like, man, I love this guy so much. He is like freaking awesome. And dude, that match of him and Ivar is going to be awesome. But I'll save my thoughts on that for another day because we want to talk, strictly about SmackDown tonight. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like that I mentioned when it comes to like the Pride and Legado, looks like they're building a story there. I'm not sure if
I do want to say LA did get his entrance, just we didn't get to see it because they cut back. They cut back when LA was just saying yeah to the crowd because we as a TV. We did not get it because I do agree, but the people in the crowd did, which is very sad that they cut it for the TV purposes. So I'm like, I couldn't cut out Bobby's or somebody else's entrances, but gonna cut out LA Knight for us. That's a no.
Yeah, no.
Because like it came back from commercial and his music's playing. I'm like, wait, hold on, that's not the beginning of his music. That's like the middle of it. Wait, what's going on? And he's just in the ring. I'm like, oh no, really? Come on, man.
And
you couldn't just have Bobby with his little fist pumps going like that. I feel like Bobby has to be so proud of these fist bumps because it's just like, yeah, look at me. I created something. It's just like, cool. You know what? We're going to put your little fist bumps and put them on the proverbial fridge for everyone to see. Isn't that cute? Like his little crappy macaroni drawing. I don't know. I'm hating right now with it, but it's just like come on. Like, yeah.
What you can't hate is KO's entrance during this fight. He literally took the mic from Braxton. Yeah, Braxton. I want to give a shout out to the production team because they've been killing it with his camera entrance and everything. He literally broke the fourth wall because he watches Weebs of the Ring because he knows how much the production team has been getting a shout out from us three. And he said, like, yo, let me actually do one of those entrances again. He literally just grabs the mic, walks with the cameraman, goes all the way to the gorilla, goes to the entrance and comes out. I love it the way he talks and like says like, this is my time. I'm going to get my title. I lost the U.S., but you know what? I'm going to do my thing. So I just love how he just worked out with KO, just using the camera entrance. It really rocks on very well.
That honestly does sound like a shout out to Weebs of the Ring because all three of us have been very vocal about that when it comes to like the production, like how they're handling the camera angles. Like when they come back from a commercial, you have them like starting from the top of the ramp and they're going down it, showing the match. Even those shots like you saw with Tiffany and Naomi's match tonight, it's like that whole camera shot from above, so you see what's going on in the ring, almost like you're controlling finger puppets in a way, where you see like just two figures on the bottom. It just looks really nice. So I actually like that Vash mentioned that, because it almost does seem like that was like KO listening to us, where it's like, well, we've seen these three guys talk about it all the time, let's give them a show. But just overall, I just love that they're doing it. That's why I said the production with the new era that we're in, the Renaissance era, the Triple H era that we're in right now, it's just so awesome. It's a new feel. Like, it's the kind of energy that I'm feeling in my body, where it's like, I never knew I wanted this until now, and it's just really awesome. But
the one that shocked me is that the BFT happened out of nowhere, and I did not know LA won until his song came on, cause it just happened like in literally 30 seconds. The Legato came in, interrupted the Street Profits, boom. That happened, and then the BFT happened, the 1, 2, 3, and then I'm like, wait, what? This happened very quick. I didn't expect it. I'm proud. It just happened so fast that it just went over my head. Was that the only one?
No, I get that, because at first I was just paying attention to like what was going on with Santos and Bobby at the time, and then I eventually caught on where it's like after Bobby went into the corner of the ring, you saw LA Knight take advantage since Santos was distracted and hit a BFT for the win.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we did mention production stuff, and I gotta throw this out there, because I do have a nitpick about the production and all that, and you guys know, because I sent this in a message in our group chat. I have one nitpick about the camera angles and the shots that we're doing. I am not a fan of the corner turnbuckle shots. And I think there's two reasons behind it. One, I feel like we're a little too close to the action there. So it's almost kind of like you're looking over somebody's shoulder, but like you can't fully see what's going on. Like there was a shot during this first triple threat match. It was when they were they were setting up like a Tower of Doom spot or whatever, and we were so close to them that like it was. I don't want to say it was like hard to tell what Bobby was doing, because you could still tell, but it was just awkward, I guess. And I think part of it was that we were on the shot for so long. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be staring at Santos Escobar's butt for like 5 minutes. Like, I want to see some wrestling. I want to see some action right now. So, but honestly, if that's just a nitpick, because like it can still be a good shot. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's like, if that's just the worst that I can think of, and it's still like a decent shot, hey, who am I to judge,
But like you said, like we have said, they're improving. They're learning what works. They're learning what doesn't work. So if any other creators, if any fans said, hey, that shot wasn't good, or the whole production team will be having this type of conversations right after, like, hey guys, so what shot worked tonight, what shot didn't. So they're still learning and improving.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's the biggest part, is they're experimenting. And that's huge, because the old regime wouldn't have done anything. They would have been like camera cuts all the time, but whatever.
What they do know is working very well. It's for KO to break in the 4-4 and be like, hey, camera again, let's do the entrance one more time, because we know damn well that's going to be happening a lot more on forward. So it's going to be very interesting how they don't make it repetitive, but don't make it feel stale. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to make it feel consistent.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys caught this too. You guys notice how he knocked down some CM Punk shirts?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mention it.
He did a little extra like, fuck this dude.
Just like, fuck that. All right. But yeah, that leads us into our next triple threat match of AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio. And this was a much different triple threat match. Like the first one, we saw a little bit of a team up where like Bobby and LA tried to team up with each other, but then at times they were doing that WWE thing where it's just like, okay, let's have two guys fight and then the one guy take a break for like a couple minutes, whatever. They didn't do it too much in that match, but it was still noticeable, at least for me. But this second match, they were like AJ, KO, and Ray, each respectively, were like they were on it the whole time. They kept getting on each other, and it was just a different feel with it. And I appreciate WWE and the talent for having like the multiple same matches, but making them each feel different.
Yeah, I really loved this match, which is why I said earlier, like, this was like a really, really, really good match. And it's probably like my match of the night, because the thing that won me over, like, towards the end was when you had the Styles Clash onto Ray, and then you end up on top of KO, and then you get AJ Styles pinning Ray to advance to face LA Knight next week for the #1 contender spot for Cody at Backlash. But I just love how this whole match was orchestrated. There was a lot of spots. Each man was given their own time to shine. It's not like one man was in control the entire time. Like, all three of them had their special spots where they're able to showcase what they're made of. I mean, even Rey Mysterio, you know, still showing that he can still move around even at his age, which is great. You know, KO's always awesome, pulling a whole bunch of pulling all the that one spot where he gave Ray, I don't know if it was Ray or AJ, where he gave him a stunner, like on
it was Ray, I believe.
Yeah, he gave Ray the stunner on the ramp, on the side of the ramp. And then obviously, you know, like I already mentioned before, and I'm gonna mention it again because I'm still blown away by that spot, you know, that Styles Clash towards the end. Like, this felt like a really intense triple threat match. And this was, like, honestly reminding me when we had that match last year with AJ, Ray, and Edge, where that match, they just went all over the place. They were, like, beating each other up to a pole. Like, that match was just incredible. And I just love when we have, like, triple threat matches like this where you just let the boys just go out there and put on a show. Don't hold them back. And it was just really nice.
It's also amazing to see Ray stand on his 2 feet against 2 big guys. Like, the way how he always stand on his 2 feet as Ray versus Big Show, Ray versus Batista, Ray versus always the big behemoth giants and now Bobby and AJ, like, they're also big dudes, but Ray, just the way he runs around, you know, does the 619, and it's crazy how Edgy still be fighting with the long hair, because at the time it always blocking his face. I'm like, how do you see where you are? But it's like Corey Graves always have said, is that ring awareness, how you know where you are in the ring, and the amounts of training. So I'd love to see that as well. Like, us, the audience, question, like, how do you prepare yourself? How do you trust your other wrestler to, you know, do the 619 but not hit your face while you're also blind? So I just love all those things that us, the fans, questions and watches. But we see these wrestlers pull these moves such wonderfully grace.
Well, like, it's interesting you brought up AJ's hair, because I actually had a thought about this, and it was during his entrance. Because, like, when he does his entrance, I'm AJ, yeah. It was when he was in the ring, and, like, his hair was, like, covering half of his face. And it was one of those shots where you look at it and it's just like, okay, this perfectly exemplifies where your character is at right now. Because it's like, he is this darker AJ. He's got this different music now. He's got this way different attitude. Like, he's more physical. He's more, like... He's got that killer instinct again. Like, this is an AJ that, I mean, dare I say, it could be Bullet Club AJ, but I didn't really watch too much of Bullet Club AJ either. So take that statement with whatever grains of salt you want. But, like, just that shot right there, just like his face covered behind his eyes or his hair, excuse me. Like I don't know. Like I could feel the energy and just I'm looking forward to this feud with Cody Rhodes for the WWE title.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the thing about it is the reason why the three of us are hyping up AJ, because we're not throwing any shade towards LA Knight, because LA Knight is fantastic. I love LA Knight so much. I'll show it another day, but I have his autograph in the back. I just love LA so much. He's a great guy. He's definitely gonna be a world champion one day. Don't worry about that. He'll
Oh, yeah.
definitely get that. He'll be able to finish his story and become a world champion. I have no worries with that because I trust Triple H. I know a lot of people. He's probably aware. I mean, he's obviously aware of what people are saying online because he was even making jokes about, oh, when is Damian gonna cash in the Money in the Bank? Why is he just holding the briefcase? So obviously, Triple H is very aware what people are saying. But the reason why people are hyping up this match between Cody Rhodes and AJ, not just because both of the guys are great, because they are. They're definitely future Hall of Famers down the road. But the reason why people are hyping up AJ and Cody is because of the story that they have with each other. And I know for sure whenever they get in the ring and they cut a promo on one another, they're gonna mention their past when it came to the Bullet Club. Like they're probably gonna bring some references to it. They're gonna probably talk about some time in Japan, because it seems now that they're actually able to use terms that they weren't able to say before. So Triple H is probably gonna let Cody and AJ go out there and talk about like the Bullet Club and the times that they did in Japan, because AJ did a lot of stuff in New Japan as well, just like Cody. He was really big around there. And when Cody was trying to reinvent himself, he also had a run in Japan as well. So there's like a lot of things you can pull in there. Even stuff that they did in like TNA, because Cody was also there as well. There's just like a whole bunch of things you could throw in there. But the main thing that they will probably focus on is like obviously the stuff with the Bullet Club. And honestly like really looking forward to it. Like this is like definitely a really good first feud for Cody when it comes to the WWE title. Obviously we're going to be getting more in depth with it next week once we get the official confirmation of who Cody's first challenger is going to be. We obviously know who it is now, but we haven't had that confirmation yet. But obviously we'll go more in depth next week. But there's just story there, and like that's the thing that the three of us love. Obviously we love good wrestling, but a lot of people wouldn't care about Cody's story if it was just a whole bunch of wrestling and stuff. It had a very strong story going into it, all the different layers that was added to it. Then you had Rock involved, adding even more layers to it. People love story when it comes to wrestling. People don't want to just watch a wrestling match. People don't just want to have dream matches, just have dream matches just because you have a whole roster of people and you just want to use them for ratings and stuff like that. You want to have like stories. People want to not only watch a match for the match itself, they also want to see what is the story leading into this. We saw the story of Cody and Roman leading into that match. We saw the story with Bayley and Io leading into their match. We saw the story with Rhea and Becky leading into their match. That's a big factor, and a lot of wrestling matches a lot of people love. They love having stories.
Yeah. And so in my mind, and I hope WWE starts. I really want them just to name drop other companies. I doubt it's still going to happen. They can probably still allude to them, but they might mention TNA on TV just because of the working partnership that they've had.
Well,
but
they
I don't know
have
if you guys
recently-
saw this either going around, like this news statement, but there was a news article going around about WWE wanting to do more with other promotions.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was
I
think it was Nick Khan that came out with that.
I believe
Yeah.
we spoke about that on last week Monday's show very briefly, or
think
Sunday's
so.
review. We spoke about it very briefly, but we definitely know a set company they're not working with on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights for sure, because they like to talk their shit for no reason when it's not back up very well. But hey, TNA definitely has the opportunity, definitely has the possibility to have a good working partnership. The women and the men's division working side by side, like what happened at the Hall of Fame from last week Friday to now. Like mentioning ECW, mentioning the how we brought back War Games, how we gonna have the King and Queen, us expanding the vision of entertainment of pro wrestling will be its best vision of what Triple H is going for. That we can have all these type of different parties. What I'm curious to see is that is the WWE, will they change their Hall of Fame from being only members of the WWE into just Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame? That's what I am curious to see in the future years from now.
I doubt it, just because like they would have to encompass a lot of other companies with it.
Yeah.
Because like TNA, for example, they have their own Hall of Fame that they do.
Mhm.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Never mind
Um.
then. Stay shut.
So yeah, I doubt they would unless they all end up coming together as one big conglomerate of wrestling, which I mean we've seen it happen before with WWE itself, but it's like I don't know if that would be a thing now. But again, that's all unless they all come together and be like, hey, let's just merge all of our Hall of Fames together, which I think who knows? Crazier things have happened. Again, CM Punk is back in WWE. Anything can happen, you know.
Hey, sometimes all you can do is just choke a guy and shit happens.
Yeah.
But hey, I love one thing to add last about AJ, KO, and Rey, and about Bobby and everyone of this triple threat. In most other promos, they said that they all believe they could have a champion run. Rey said that he believes he has a champion run in him. AJ Styles said it in other interviews outside that he has one more run in him in general. Bobby said that he wants another champion run. Santos said that this is his time. We have LA Knight say that this is his time. So I love how everyone in these 6 people trying to go for the number 1 contender believes this is their moment. So I love how it shows that everyone, not just Cody's story, but everyone has a story of their own. Everyone has a goal. Everyone has a vision. So I love that very much.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, everybody has their reasonings. They all have their wants, their whys of why they want to be WWE champion, all that stuff. But unfortunately, one person has to win each match. And as Drop and as Vash were saying, we had LA Knight go over in his triple threat. We had AJ go over in his triple threat. We're getting a WrestleMania rematch next week on SmackDown. Again, winner faces Cody at Backlash. And I like, too, how LA Knight came out there and the two of them were just talking shit at the end.
Yeah.
And there were no punches thrown.
I
mean,
thought there would be punches. No lie. I thought there would have been, but nope.
I thought so, too. But I'm kind of glad there weren't. It was just them talking shit. Like, it's just something different and something new. Like, because that's the thing. Like you said, Vash, you would expect that. Like, you would expect LA Knight to just come in. Hell, part of me thought, because, like, my original thought was that KO was going to win it because of the friendship line that Cody was saying in his earlier promo. So I was just like, okay, well, KO might win, and we'll get, KO versus Cody. That's a decent first match.
And it would have been interesting because also KO has access to Cody's locker where he told it to the Bloodline, like, hey, you guys are not allowed. And just squeezely go in. Yeah. And Jimmy also trying to look like, what's going on in there?
But, like, I also thought it was going to tie in, too, because, like, LA could have, interfered in the match and cost AJ since AJ kind of cost him his title shot. But I'm kind of glad we went this way instead because, like, now we can kind of continue. Yeah, we can have round 2. We can have round 3 at, I think, the Saudi shows after this. So, hell, they could meet in King of the Ring. What if they're the final of the King of the Ring tournament?
We got options. We are progressing with the stories.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'm hyped for it because they had some good chemistry at WrestleMania, and they can put on some good matches. But that was like our main through storyline, or a plot, if you will, of our week of SmackDown viewing. So what about that
B
good
plot.
old fashioned B plot? Well, I
Yeah.
say B plot, but this is mainly more like an A minus plot, if I'm being honest, because it's this hyped up tremendously. So we're gonna start our backstage antics slash in-ring promo segment. We're starting off very hot, very smoldering, magma hot. We got the Bloodline coming out, and they got some promo time. They got some things to say, and what I found interesting too, they came out to Solo's music, not Jimmy's music, not trying to be like, oh, we're, still loyal to Roman music. No, we came out to Solo's music, and there was a there's a certain aura with it. I don't know if it was just me, but there was something different with Solo tonight. Like that whole losing streak that he was having earlier. I feel like we're done with that because just the aura that came from him, the tribal air. He made his way to the ring, led his bloodline there, but man, we had some things to talk about tonight, didn't we?
I love the line
Oh,
when Solo was upset coming into the locker room. That it seems like this is the only locker room for seems like for only the
Yeah.
title winner since KO said there's a broom closet down the hall over there. So that was funny. And Solo just stares mad. Paul Heyman says wins and losses matter. This is the consequences of losing. We need to bring the title back to the bloodline by order of the tribal chief. This is three things in that one sentence. You have consequences. Wins and losses matter. That actually brings a big significance in the WWE stories. That wins and
actually
losses
acknowledging it.
matter. Acknowledging it,
Yep,
yes.
actually.
That winning and losing brings you to the promised land or bring you back to not having no TV time. So I love that was acknowledged. Two, saying that the title comes back to the bloodline. Never said back to the tribal chief. It said title back to the bloodline. That's two for me.
Mhm.
Three, ordered by the tribal chief. But by the end of the night, tribal chief said something else. So that's very curious to see that the tribal chief is being spoken for by Paul, but then who spoke for tribal chief by the end of the night. So I love this. Already starting off with that one sentence alone, like what Watkins said 2 weeks ago when Rollins had that one sentence interaction with Drew, and it made him feel so much better about the seven Drew. This made me feel happy with the Paul Heyman line. That one sentence just adds that 3 extra layer for it. You're acknowledging consequences. You're acknowledging something that the title has to go back to the bloodline. It could mean the certain player debut. It could mean Solo, because this man needs to get some acting lessons better or need to get some mic lessons from CM Punk. Because, man, if you're going to start speaking from now on, you need to improve in your mic work, my guy. ASAP. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
All love.
Nah, he'll get there. He'll get there.
But how about you,
Eventually.
Watkins? How do you feel about this?
Oh man, I have a lot of thoughts that kind of pertain to after we mention every little piece that has fallen into place. But
Yeah, same.
there were a few interesting ways they were kind of trying to spin things around. Like, for example, like Paul Heyman saying that the Bloodline had no excuses for Mania, and yet you're using Seth Rollins as an excuse for why Roman Reigns took his eye off the ball. And I do like how he kind of referenced Mania 39, saying, "Oh, Cody should have been prepared for Solo," where it's just like, in a way, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like telling a kid, "Hey, don't stick that fork in there. Don't, it'll shock you. Don't do that." But the kid's just like, "Ah, whatever," and he still does it. It's just like, well, you knew what was gonna happen. Like, even if you can try to prepare yourself for that eventual shock, it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna, take you by surprise. So like, I don't know. It was, his wording was very weird to me. It's just like, again, we're not making excuses, but here's an excuse.
Yeah, like, hey, it's like, it felt like, when you're at work and your boss is coming at you and asking for no excuses, but then you still try to give an excuse to try to defend yourself. Because, like, hey, that's not how it is. Let me give myself, like, hey, let me explain for myself. Hold up. Bitch, hold up. This is what I felt like. Paul was trying to explain it, but then Solo was the one that was not having it. Like, hey, I don't give a fuck what you're saying about these excuses, Paul. You're the wise man, but the tribal chief ain't here. So I'm gonna make my excuse, and my excuse is, Jimmy, you gotta go, and that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, and I also
consequences need to change.
Yeah, and I like how Solo is like first off, Triple H did mention during one of the WrestleMania press conferences that Roman's story, like moving forward, it's gonna take a turn, and we saw that tonight. There's a lot of seeds planted, a lot of things that we're going to be seeing later on in the year. And one of the things I did like is that I've been hearing things for a while now that eventually they were going to have some plans with Solo and Roman. And this goes all the way back to when Roman appointed Solo as the tribal heir.
Yes.
We're pretty much saying if Roman's gone, then Solo's going to be the next one to be in charge. He pretty much took that position because Roman's not here anymore. He lost the title. He lost the title that was pretty much his crown. Cody has it now. So now Solo's taking control. Yep. Solo's taking control. He's making his own decisions. He even took the phone out of Heyman's hand and he started stomping it on the ground. He wants things to go by what he says, which makes sense, if they're going by what Heyman said, because they were being like very vocal about how wins and losses matter, saying, okay, you know what, since this happened, then we have to work our way up to the top to, gain that right again, like hypothetically, gain that right to, go against Cody again, for example, like pretty much playing by the rules books, just like how we said, finally acknowledge that, hey, there's consequences here and you got to own up to them. So going off of that, that has Solo looking at what Roman did. And it's like, okay, well, if you're alluding to that, then it should go for Roman. Things should apply to Roman as well because of what happened. So that's why I'm taking charge. That's why I'm leading the bloodline in a different direction, the way I see it. And I don't know if you guys noticed, because I even saw this video as you guys were talking, like Solo's been showing more body language ever since he took this new role tonight, because I even saw him, he had like a match towards the end of the night, he was even doing like Jay's yeet thing. Like, you don't normally see that from him. He's just like really quiet, he's like crossing his arms, but he's actually like showing more personality, or he's actually putting himself out there. He's actually has like a bigger role, and I feel like this is a good decision on their part, because there's a lot of potential in Solo. There's so many things they could do for him, and he definitely needs it, especially after like making him look like a fool all the time, just sitting there playing second fiddle. It makes sense to put Solo in this position because it was already foreshadowed, and it's eventually going to lead up into more things that we're going to be seeing later on in the year. You're more than likely, especially what Vash said after he attacked Jimmy, taking him out, and it was actually very reminiscent, a nice parallel to what Roman did to Jimmy before, where he's like, I love you, I care about you, everything like that, and then they had that turn on him. So it's like you're getting like all these different seeds planted at once, and then obviously you're more than likely, judging after this segment, you're gonna get Roman coming off as a babyface, and you never know if Rock's has all these things played out in the background as well, because maybe he's looking at Roman now like a joke because he lost at Mania. So maybe he's the one that's actually behind this, since he's the High Chief making all these rules. Solo also mentioned before that he respects his elder. Rock is an elder. A lot of things to throw in there.
Yeah, and like the biggest story thing that just it sticks to me really right here, and it mainly has to do with Heyman. I feel like Paul Heyman is going to be the crux of all of this. He's gonna be our emotional support, much like Sammy was, much like Jay was, much like Cody was. They were like the emotional like point of the story. I feel like Heyman's gonna be that, and my reason with that is because Solo, to me at least, he seems like he's going to represent the angry part or like the very malicious part of Roman that Paul Heyman was holding back. Like Paul, because that's the thing. Paul, like Roman, would always consult the wise man, and we've seen what happens when Roman gets pissed off, when he snaps, when he's done with everything. Solo, he's still pretty young, and he's a very angry boy, and he saw everything that happened with Roman, what worked, what didn't work, and is going to do something about it. Like, and we've even seen that too when he was the Muscle. Like, there were plenty of times where he just wanted to beat Cody up, but he was pulled back by either Roman or Paul Heyman. And now that Roman's not gone, that thing that was holding Solo back is gone. And Paul Heyman, he doesn't really have the strength to hold Solo back, which is probably why he was held back by Roman. But now that Roman doesn't have any power, hey, it's time for me to step up. But Paul, I think he's gonna still try to like convince or like try to reason with Solo a little bit. Oh, maybe we shouldn't go this far. I mean, we even saw it tonight with like the aftermath of Jimmy. Like, just I feel like that's where the story's gonna really go with this, and it's gonna be deep. And I don't want to say something bad's gonna happen to Paul, but it wouldn't surprise me, because especially this late into his career, he's been one to take some bumps lately, so I could see him maybe doing something with that. Who knows? And I think the one line too that keeps just sticking out throughout all of this is this whole by order of the tribal chief, because they're not mentioning Roman, and kind of like what we've been alluding to here, Solo's kind of taking up that mantle, but is he taking up the mantle himself, or was he approved by a higher chief?
Yep, that makes sense too. Because you have to get the high.
Well,
you got to get the high chiefs. You got to get the high chief's approval.
Exactly. And since the tribal chief lost, well, we can't be having that. We can't be having losers leading our tribe. Nah, I can't have that. As the high chief, nah, get that loser out of here. Solo, you're up. You're the heir. You got this.
I think it will be very interesting because we haven't mentioned the elephant in the room. The betrayal of Solo versus Jimmy happened with the debut of Tama Tonga debuting on Friday Night Smackdown.
And this shocked me.
No, like
I thought it was the other Fatu.
I thought it was Jacob Fatu. That's what I thought it was.
So too.
Oh, he's coming. He's coming.
Yeah.
He's probably next, joining that new group. Definitely.
Yep.
So, right now, like the guy said, we have Roman, Jimmy, and Jay. We have Solo, Rock, and Tama Tonga. That's 3 there. Jacob Fatu, if he joins, where would he land? Would he land on NXT to build, or would he land to the Bloodline to the big league?
Oh no, he's getting added to this story.
Okay.
Hands down, he's getting added to this story. Especially if they're going to be making a new bloodline. Jake Fatu is going to be added to Solo's group. He's
Which
not going to side with
bloodline
Roman's
will you have a guess on which bloodline he will choose?
Solo's
Oh
group.
yeah, Solo.
It doesn't make sense for him to be a part of Roman's. Because
Plus
if you're
you-
bringing in, like, if you're pushing a new era, you're bringing in a new bloodline, it doesn't really make sense to have Jacob Fatu go with Jimmy and Jay. It
Yeah.
makes more sense for them to be a part of Solo's group, especially if Rock is calling the shots of who he wants to recruit in this new group to put up against Roman, because this could possibly be like a War Games match that we see down the line. And Jacob Fatu fits way better as a heel anyway.
I agree.
And
Yeah. Plus, like, this kind of ties into why I said Rock Cody at the Rumble, because, like, again, you can have that setup and all that stuff, but like, when Roman's done with the tribal chief, hey, hi chief, forget you and your title shot, screw you. Because, I mean, we're doing interference galore tonight with everything. I mean, if you saw the triple threat matches earlier, there was interference galore in that first one. But man, there's a lot of deep layers that are gonna go into the story, and I'm all here for it. Like,
Oh yeah, same.
I didn't know
Same.
how they were going to keep the momentum up, because it's very hard after WrestleMania, because it's like, okay, you had all that momentum going into it, you know, with your big stories, your big matches, and all that stuff. You have your Raw after WrestleMania, and then and this kind of ties in too, I guess, with why I wasn't too excited for SmackDown tonight, because, like, at least for me, you have your Raw after WrestleMania. It's like, okay, we got the fun show out of the way, and now it's SmackDown. It's just like, it could still be fun, but like, we're kind of starting to get back into the weekly grind of everything. But I think just me being not, cause I guess the level of hype, I guess, is part of it. It's just like, okay, my hype level, it was high, but not like high enough to be like, oh, I can't wait for SmackDown. It's just like, man, looking forward to SmackDown tonight. Like, but this stuff right here, this is how you continue that momentum. This is like putting that iron skillet on again. Like, we're cooking again, and this meal smells good. Oh man, but you know what? I'm excited to see Tama Tonga in WWE. Like, I've seen
same,
some clips of his stuff in New Japan, but I'm interested to see how his style is going to change or adapt to the WWE style.
Oh yeah. But I also heard he's been wanting to be a part of WWE for quite some time as well. So it's nice that he finally has the opportunity to be a part of it.
So far from what he's
Yeah.
already been doing with his body language, scaring Paul, showing the aggressive side, I feel like he's succeeding so far already on his introduction.
Oh yeah.
And he's also the son of Haku as well.
Yep. Oh, there was a tweet. I'll have to find it again. It had a picture of Haku, and it was kind of being like, "Oh, here comes Solo and Tama Tonga," and it's like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not them. What, Haku? What are you doing here?" Like, oh man. But okay, I think. Trying to look. I'm looking through my notes. I don't think there's really much else to really talk with here. I mean, again, we're starting the story here. We're continuing our hot momentum from WrestleMania. I mean, to be honest, I was kind of blown away a bit with how they were able to just grab me back in so hard, you know?
Like, one thing I'm shocked about is that during that segment, I thought Cody or Jay was gonna come in and swoop in and help Jimmy. So I was very shocked of the turn of events, but that's good shock of what Watkins just said. That I was impressed. I was underwhelmed in the best way possible. That the show itself shocked me, the viewer, had us guessing, had us wanting more of these type of segments, these type of show nights itself. Great Raw after Mania. I mean, SmackDown after Mania. It's been good so far.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think you actually just reminded me of a question I wanted to ask too, because we've mentioned Jimmy and Roman. Going back to Jay, how do you think we get there? How do you guys think we get back to there? Because like
It's
there's a lot that goes into like them reconciling with each other.
it's probably going to be a similar situation with Sammy and KO next year.
Hmm.
That's the best way I can put it, honestly. It's just going to take some time to regain
Okay.
that trust again. So it's probably going to go down a similar route to that.
Okay. What about you, Vash? How do you think we're gonna get back to at least the Usos and Roman's part of the bloodline? How do you think we're gonna get back to that old team?
Like Job said, like it's just about
Mhm.
time. Things will lead up to it, and how the wrestlers will read the room and understand where the crowd feels and when is the right time to actually get the Jimmy and Jay. We have Cody teaming up with Roman. We always have the previous heel, current babyface teaming up with the champion. We're like, what? We never expected this. Cody teaming up with Roman Reigns. What? Like, we're gonna get that sometime soon. It is bound to happen.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's basically our B plot from the night. Let's get into the rest of our mid card here. We had a couple of video packages. I mean, well, one video package and one FaceTime call. But let's start with the video package because A Town Down Under, they're not on SmackDown right now, but they had a little package just hyping themselves up. And I mean, hey, almost a week into their title reign and they're already calling themselves the greatest tag team champions ever. It's like you guys just won them. But I like how we're pulling from history again. Like even if it's just racing history, just saying, oh, Grayson Waller's first WrestleMania, he wins a title. Oh, Austin Theory beat John Cena for the US title last year. Aren't we great? Aren't we awesome? Guys, how are we feeling about this video package
I
and
really,
what it led into afterwards?
I really, 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 really like it because it reminds me of NXT video package being like
Mhm.
outdoors, going to a bar, where like WWE haven't really been doing it. Their video package has been more of in house at the event. You know, with Shinsuke Nakamura having like a whole type of color background, a little smoke, and him just speaking to the screen and having that type of anime voice type of villain. But with this video package, we actually have the superstars outside at their own habitat at a bar, talking and trying to hype it up, trying to discuss of how great they are. So to me, as a video package, it delivers, it gets the job done, and it makes you not like these motherfuckers still, as the job goes.
I hate him. But in a way, I'm supposed to feel.
I thought it was it honestly did what it needed to do to build up some contenders for next week. And this is where I'm hoping, because I don't really see them being champions for a long time, but this is where I'm hoping that New Catch Republic gets the win.
Oh, please. Please give it to me. Give
So,
it to me.
Because
I
if you
need
want
it.
some
I need it.
legitimacy with that
I need
title,
it.
throw the
Yeah.
tag titles on them.
so
That.
should we talk about it since the Pride and New Catch Republic and two other teams are going for the number one contender match next week for 8 Town Down Under?
Um, I don't.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
we were gonna, yeah. So, I mean, so the video package, it leads into. To be honest, it's a funny scene of just because we had Street Profits and New Catch Republic in the back with
Just
Nick
staring.
Aldis, and
Just staring at the
they're
TV.
all just silent. Which I don't blame them for after that video package. I would be silent too, but I just love the slow turn they all do towards Nick Aldis and him just being like, "All right, well, we'll find them a contender next week, so stay tuned." Like, I don't know, that was just perfect timing from all parties on there.
I love how the what's his name, Pete Dunne his face just speaks so much. It's like it's like he looks at you. He's like, I'm disgusted at this, but not even say it. His expression, his body, is like, the fuck is this? Why the champions?
Like, what?
We should be champions. Give us the number one contender match. That's all Nick Aldis was reading from Pete Dunne. Like, yes, I get it. They're annoying. We get it. You don't like them. We get it. The number one contender match. Cool. The pride came in. All right, guys, we get it. You had to just stop staring at me and giving me those eyes. I love that.
Yeah.
Video package works. Can't wait for the number one contender match. And I can't wait for the draft. Because we're going to get new titles.
Yeah, hopefully we get more than likely soon.
More than likely. More than likely towards the end of the month we will.
Oh boy, but from one video package to a FaceTime call with our lovely US champion Logan Paul, who is not there tonight, and kind of cuts a promo just hyping himself up again for beating not only KO, but calling himself a legend killer by beating Randy Orton as well. And again, he's just putting himself over. He's calling this the hashtag Logan Paul Levesque era, which I thought that was perfect for him to do, because like that just matches his character so well with like just trying to hook himself onto something bigger than him, I guess, in a way. But yeah, what are we thinking about? What do you think about this fun FaceTime call drop?
I mean, it was just Logan being a dick, really.
Yeah,
that's just the best way to sum it up. The thing I'm more interested in personally is seeing what direction he goes down next. That's what I want to see, because obviously I don't want to see him with Randy or KO after Mania, because we already dealt with that. So I'm more interested in seeing what his next challenger is going to be, and I would assume probably whatever the result is after that number one contender spot we get next week, we might find out an answer soon.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that, but that's all I can really say about that.
I could see like a one-on-one with Randy since Mania we had the triple threat and all that. But that's really only because he was mentioning Randy a lot, but we might also be going away from that. Who knows? I don't know. I don't book the shows. I don't write the shows. I'm just a humble dude just on the internet talking about it. But Vash, what do you think about this FaceTime call?
I honestly didn't care for it. I'm sorry.
No. Like I said, just Logan being a dick just sums it up.
I can already saw like, cool. He's doing his heel shit. He's getting the story progression. He's hyping himself up. He killed a legend killer. KO is not a legend. KO is a bottom meat trash, whatever Logan said. And the lines that he said that this is a Paul Levesque era, like this is him throwing his name there, Paul, and everything. So, workout at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck about you, but I like your matches. We move.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much it. Yeah. So, hey, that's enough of the promos and the backstage shenanigans. We got some matches to talk about. We got some other matches besides a couple triple threat matches. Some matches that didn't really last too long, but hey, they still existed. Much like Cameron Grimes.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thrown together? Yeah. Yeah, some of them kind of did. Not going to lie. But starting off, we had Cameron Grimes trying to beat Bron Breakker. Keyword trying.
GG.
Yeah. GG, buddy. Thanks for coming. Look, at least he got paid, you know?
Yeah.
At least he got a SmackDown paycheck this week.
I'm happy my boy Cameron Grimes literally got like 2 to 5 minutes of TV time. I love how Bron Breakker looks unstoppable, literally going week to week, literally just destroying these fodder characters. Like, hey, we have spoken jokes around our wrestlers go on a side quest. Bron Breakker is literally doing a side quest. Like, let me destroy these side characters real quick so I could get to the main roster and go for the U.S. title or the main title. Like, I'm going to literally destroy these characters as side quests and literally beat them up so you can know that I am the man. The speed, the spears, we knock you down.
Then get up again. Never neck me down. Okay. I do have a question though about this. Did you guys think that Braun felt a little slow tonight?
I didn't really notice, to be honest.
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
There were a couple instances
Why did
where
you
I'm
get
just like,
that?
I'd have to go back and look. I think there's one that stands into my mind. It was when he had brought Cameron Grimes to one of the turnbuckles, and he started doing like the shoulder tackle thing, and it didn't feel quite as explosive as it usually is. So I don't know. It was just odd to me. It was just something I noticed. Again, very very tiny detail, very nitpicky at best. But it's like it was still something I noticed where I'm just like, okay, is he just a little slow tonight? Which again, it's fine. Everybody has their days, whatever. But okay, maybe I'm just the crazy one. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Hey,
Who
at
knows?
the end of the day, Braun Breaker was smashing through the ropes. He didn't move the ring this time.
No.
Yeah.
But so moving from one match to another one that actually had some decent time to it and turned out to be a number one contenders match for Bailey's title. We had Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown tonight. Now, the lead up to this, kind of cool. We had Bailey coming out, just giving her promo, just being grateful for winning the title. She had mentioned that this winning that title meant more to her than many of the other times she won. But very kind of a very standard babyface promo, just being like, "Hey, I won the championship. Who's next?"
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I actually really loved that segment. Also because I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but her entrance was in 8K.
It was. I did notice that.
I did not notice
Yep.
that.
Because if you go back and you watch Bailey's entrance from tonight, it felt really lifelike, where it was almost like you were there. It was like a lot different from the other entrances because they do this every so often, where like they switch up the video quality for the entrances. Like they did it with Shinsuke a couple months ago when he came out, and they also been doing it recently when you've been seeing like the challenger and the champion. That was them using the 8K camera. When Bailey came out the whole entire time and she was like walking down the ramp, it was like an 8K quality and it looked like so
Totally missed
cool.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
I would definitely need to check back and see it because I did definitely miss that.
Oh yeah, nah, I noticed that drop. Good catch with that one. But
Mm.
yeah, I guess for me, like it was mainly just the words she was saying and all that. It's just like, okay, you're hitting the baby face marks. That's cool. That's great. She gets interrupted by Tiffany Stratton with some interesting music, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
her-
got her old theme back.
It's about
She
time.
did. About damn
I
time.
love how Triple
'cause-
H is finally putting the time and attention to these wrestlers that deserve it.
Mhm.
And he probably listens to what people say online too.
That too, yeah. But like, because that's the thing. I actually thought about this. I think it was like yesterday. Because I started just singing. Oh, whose song was it singing? I was singing like HBK's music in my head for some reason. I was just at work, just printing something out. I was just like, I'm just a sexy boy, sexy boy. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, huh? Can I sing any other like modern wrestling songs? I'm like, okay, let's think about this. There's Romans that pops into my mind.
Rhea's Ripley.
AJ, Rhea Ripley's, Judgment Days. Like there are some that do pop into my mind. But then then I sit there and think, I'm like, okay, what's Braun Breaker's music? And then I'm like, oh, kind of sounds like generic guitar. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You have your sirens in the beginning. Like there's still a lot that are
Yeah.
like
They changed
just
that
very
tonight, too.
basic.
They gave him a new
They
theme
did.
tonight because he had the dogs coming out barking before,
Yeah.
but now he has it where you don't even hear that. It sounds like very generic. I personally wasn't a fan of it.
So but yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, okay, I hope we start going back to songs that you can actually think about, or like they just pop into your head and you're just like, oh yeah, that's Tiffany Stratton's music, or oh hey,
Mhm.
that's Rey Mysterio's music, or like things like that, you know. So
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping we're going back to that, but this was an odd, well, I guess not odd setup. It was an interesting setup, I guess, because it's like, Tiffany comes out, she's like, I should get a title match because I'm Tiffany Stratton, which, I mean, fair enough. Yeah, you are Tiffany Stratton. You should get a title shot, yeah, but apparently Bailey promised Naomi a title shot.
Probably because they're friends, I would assume so. That's probably the
Yeah.
Yeah, like girl said that it's been so long. You came back from the company. I'm like, wait, who came back from the company? And then she led up to like, Naomi, I wanted to fight you. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. For Tiffany to interrupt, I'm happy. Like it continued the story that Tiffany has been in a thorn alongside of Naomi. So I love that very much. The line that Tiffany said was very interesting. Saying that she wouldn't be able to find a champion even if it glows. I'm like, what? That was rude.
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
No, but I'm saying like,
It's in her
typical things,
character.
like
but
it's like
no, but
yeah.
I'm like good type of rude. I'm like, it's good type
Oh,
of
Yeah,
rude.
yeah.
It's like she's doing her job right. She knows how to execute it. I love how everyone, the crowd, was loving her for it. Great time. Naomi and Tiffany actually put a great match. I was very impressed. I was very shocked of how good the match was going. It was honestly could have gone a 50-50. I thought that Tiffany could have won as well.
Yeah.
I agree, but also at the same time, I'm actually happy they went down the direction with Naomi only because Naomi deserves it. Because ever since she came back, they're showcasing her in a different way with how she was presented before. And I feel like this would be a good way to showcase her, show her strengths when her and Bailey have that match. And I'm honestly happy that they're saving Tiffany because that's my personal Money in the Bank winner. And Tiffany just screams like Money in the Bank holder only because she would be the kind of person to just rub it in your face every chance she gets, saying, well, I have this contract right here. I can cash it in anytime and get what I want. Like, I'm the
Yep.
princess, I can do whatever I want. It just fits her character so well. And I just feel like you got to save a moment like that for Tiffany because it just fits her so well. Because she's the only realistic woman that I can personally see winning something like that. If you want to, if you want to build her up more so she can get to that main event status.
Right.
So I'm happy that they went down this direction because Tiffany's the future. She's going to have a lot of time when all these other girls are gone. So I'd rather her have a moment like that than like see her go up against Bailey and lose.
Yeah.
Because
And
Bailey's
plus, now
holding
with
on to that title for a while, probably.
probably I could see Bailey holding it until SummerSlam, to be honest.
Yeah.
At least, that big show, or at least around there. Like I mean, that's a decent enough run for somebody of Bailey's stature, I think. I mean, granted, again, you could have a longer run, but that's the other thing. Bailey's already had like a really long run with a title too. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
she could have a shorter run. It doesn't hurt her at all. Just it can elevate another star. And I'm kind of in the same boat as you. It's just like I could see Tiffany Stratton being the one to get the Money in the Bank briefcase because and to hold it for a bit too. Like she could be, the men's case can be the one that just gets cashed in almost immediately. Whereas with Tiffany, hey, you can make a pink one and sell that. That's merchandise right there.
And also, you can also trademark Tiffy in the Bank.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes, I fuck with that. Tiffany in the Bank. We gotta write it down,
Yeah.
tweet it, and say that if you're gonna use that, we gotta get royalties for it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the match was fine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not. I like Naomi, but she's not she's not up there for me, if that makes sense. Like
I
I
get it.
like her, and I want her to have her shots when they are on there, but I don't know. It might be her style of wrestling. I really don't know. It's just I'm not a fan of it, but like I'm just in the middle with her, really. So
I get it.
yeah, but and also too to kind of tie in with like the whole like, oh, it's not Tiffany's time yet. Tiffany time. But anyways, we're getting Bailey and Naomi next week for the title. Like,
Yeah.
I thought this was being set up for Backlash, but no, we're getting it free on SmackDown, which again, fine, cool, whatever. Where we're gonna lead into this and all that, like, where do you guys think we're gonna be leading with all this, including with Tiffany Stratton being involved with this?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, obviously Bailey's winning next week. She's not gonna drop the title. But I don't know. Maybe it could lead to Tiffany and Bailey at Backlash, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, you could have done that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically, it doesn't make sense for like Naomi to lose and then Tiffany gets a shot at Backlash right after, just because you want to find an opponent for Bailey. So it honestly all depends what they do from there.
Yeah, I know it's a well we keep going down whenever we talk about things like, oh, how are we going to get this? But it's like that is one way to get to it. But we could always get a triple threat at Backlash.
Yeah, you could always do that. Because I wouldn't be
You know.
surprised if Tiffany is actually involved in that match and she somehow causes a disqualification or whatever it is, and then you do get a triple threat between the both of them at Backlash. So that at least allows all three of them to go out there, showcase what they can do and stuff like that, and nobody will really get hurt in the process.
Yeah, exactly. And she could still win Money in the Bank too after that, and still get her moment, because again, because that's the beauty of like a triple threat or like a fatal four way and all that. Like, if you structure it well enough, people can come out of those still looking really good. Like, I mean, look at the fatal four way we got earlier this year with like Roman, Randy, KO, and LA Knight. Oh no, not KO. Sorry, AJ. Oh my gosh, I got so many good wrestlers on SmackDown. I'm sorry, but anyways, like, even though like three of those guys didn't win, they didn't beat Roman, they still looked really good in defeat. I mean, hell, even take tonight's triple threat matches. I mean, Santos looked pretty good in his role, even though there was interference on his part, but he still looked really good. Same with LA Knights. Same with Bobby Lashley. Like, it took like 5 men to beat him down tonight, or 4 men, I guess. 4, yeah. I know math. I'm as good as math as Solo is. But anyways, and even with the other triple threat match, like, they're good ways to elevate the stars of tomorrow, or like the stars that you're trying to build up at that time. And if we do end up getting another triple threat with Bailey, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton, I'm all for it too. So, but we'll have to just wait and see, I guess, with that.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. We got our number 1 contender for next week. Cool, awesome, neat. Can't wait for that. But our final match that we're going to talk about tonight. Yeah, man, 3 other matches tonight. Yeah, another squiggity squash match, because Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are, for some reason, here.
They spoke to the manager and wanted something better than last week Monday. Nick out was like, yeah, sure, we will treat you with more respect. And he says, psych.
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna feed you to Jade and Bianca, who are wearing matching gear tonight.
Yeah, so more than likely, this is just going to be a way to build up Jade and Bianca in this match. It's like we discussed before, this was pretty much a squash match. But this is more than likely just building them up as a team. They're more than likely going to go after the Kabuki Warriors for the tag titles. I would not be surprised if that's set at Backlash, and they probably win the titles there. And then you could build up to the bond between Jade and Bianca, and depending on what sort of direction they want to go down, where they might end up button heads down the line because we know that's a money match in the making that they definitely want to do. This is definitely one way to get into it with that long-term booking aspect of it.
You know what would be crazy? Okay, so hear me out, because I just this idea just it literally, like, guys, it is, what time is it? It is 12:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this idea just popped into my head. So, hear me out with this crazy booking. Bianca, Jade win the tag titles. Let's say at Backlash, like you said, drop. They win the tag titles. They hold on to them all the way till Mania, like Mania 41. So like that's a long title reign for the women's tag titles. Awesome, great. They put on some great matches. A lot of them seem pretty short, but hey, that's because it's Bianca and Jade. What are you gonna do? Come WrestleMania 41, Jade Cargill, undefeated so far in WWE, whether it's tag, singles, whatever, still undefeated. Bianca Belair going into another WrestleMania, undefeated. They lose the tag straps because Bianca gets pinned. So Bianca loses the match. There's your crack right there. Because that's the thing. I don't want Jade to eat a pin yet. That's just me personally. And for the crux of that feud, it needs to be Bianca's fault, because I mean, I know I've said before, like, oh, Bianca's kind of tiring as a face, but that was in the old regime. Bianca's a face now. It's doing something for me. It's doing a little more for me than it was prior. But I don't know, that again, that idea just came into my mind. It can cook a little bit more, maybe, put some seasoning on it. But what do you guys think of just that little idea right there?
I could possibly see it work in that direction, but I could also see them wanting to use Bianca's streak once she's a champion again, and have somebody like Jade beat her to like elevate Jade more, not only becoming a world champion but also ending Bianca's streak. It just feels like to me they might want to save that for like a singles match.
Which I feel bad when the time comes with Bianca being betrayed by Jade. That will hurt Bianca, and I'll feel bad for her when the time comes.
I feel like it might be the opposite though.
Wait, what? Really think so?
I think, because like you got to look at it like this: when they're building new stars, they keep them as faces. They're not gonna have Jade as a heel in a feud against Bianca. More than likely, when Jade and Bianca feud, they're gonna have Bianca as the heel because they're trying to get Jade over.
True.
I mean, you could still get somebody over as a heel. It's
No,
like,
I get that, but just looking at how they structure things when they bring new people up before they go down that direction, it's just been a formula that they've been doing recently.
Yeah. And that's why, like, with the turn and all that, I'm thinking more of like a year from now, like keeping Jade as a face to, like what you were saying, Drop, like build her up, get her known to the audience and all that, like get people behind her. That way, when the split does inevitably happen, it is soul crushing. Like, it's something that, God, I'd almost want to say it's something it could be something on the levels of like the New Day breaking up. Like you could make it that big. Like you could, just you just got to write it good, but whatever. But man, the sheer amount, the sheer pressure of that Conqueror's hockey from Jade during that entrance, like, God, this might have been the best way that they've presented her in the company so far.
True.
Like, just Jade.
I'm just disappointed that everyone will be upset that she is in a squash match again with Chelsea Green. But what people need to understand, Chelsea Green is bringing the comedy humor in that match. Jade and Bianca are bringing the wrestling, the entertainment aspect. This is all to equal them to be a women's title contender, and also to be a team overall. Just to see Jade continue learning the ropes, but with Bianca to help her and train her if anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, a quick question. Because I turned away for like a minute or two during the match. Did Piper Niven do anything? Like,
No,
sh- she was there.
not
That was
really.
about
No.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't miss anything. Yeah, because like Chelsea Green took the pin again. Um, yeah, it was just weird. Okay, I'll have to do some research, see if anything's up with her, because I've seen some of her stuff like in the indies, like that. She's one I saw, going around here and there, and she was in the Mae Young Classic, right? I'm not.
Who? Which one?
Yes, I believe.
I
Who
it
was in
was
the
the
who?
second
Who?
one. Oh, Piper Niven.
Yeah, both her and Bianca were.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm not crazy. Good. Good. This time I'm not crazy, chat. Isn't that great? Uh, but okay. So she didn't do anything. Cool. Awesome. Great. But yeah, again, just another squiggity squaggity squash match to help continue build Jade Cargill up into the superstar that we all know that she can be. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that was basically SmackDown. I mean, I'm sure we got some aftermath going to be uploading on the interwebs, all these news coming out this weekend, probably of other things. But hey, we got through SmackDown. It's officially been a week since WrestleMania, and things are looking pretty good for WWE.
Oh yeah, definitely a good week to start off the new era,
Mm-hmm.
especially how it ended this week.
Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah. Just again, like I'm just fading off to them to LA and AJ just talking shit to each other. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
To me,
So all right.
to me this Friday Night SmackDown has been amazing. Like honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like we said at the beginning of the show, I will say this: uh, SmackDown after Mania succeeded. I was like Watkins. I was underwhelmed. I was hesitant because of what the guys have said that SmackDown usually after Mania doesn't always feel hype. This one Triple H will say like, hey, what can we do to continue the story? Roman's story continuing, but the Bloodline story has not stopped. Solo's gonna bring somebody else new. Tama Tonga, we're gonna see how it's gonna be a key factor for the continued growth of the Bloodline and the stories. I wonder will other people will feud with them, or if this will be a personal internal struggle. That's what I'm curious about. That will they have some external feud throughout the next couple of weeks just to have other people involved in the story, or if this will be like a personal bloodline matter is what I'm curious about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, if you guys don't have anything else to say about SmackDown, anything to plug or anything, I could always hit that outro.
Um, can't wait to see what else it gets to build up with Cody's story. What
Hmm.
continues to be his first opponent, his first title defense on Backlash at France, and then what does he do in Saudi in the end of May? So I'm really curious to see what's the build up, what happens next, and what is determined for our babyface, our main champion. When are we gonna see Roman? Because right now we also have seen from his IG or from his social media that he's in training mode. He's back out
Yep.
and again. So I'm really curious to see that how we're gonna continue the story, and are we getting the Rock, the type of laptop back in 2016 of Raw? Is he giving that treatment? Like, is he doing the voice calls? Is he doing the FaceTime over the Bloodline? And is he giving those commands? That is also one I'm very curious about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, what about you, Drop? Overall thoughts, feelings?
Like I said earlier, I thought this was a great episode of SmackDown to really start off the new era, pointing us in a lot of directions. having Cody out there to find out his first feud that's going to be at Backlash for his WWE title, which I love that they're just referring it to that. And also seeing more tension with the Bloodline is nice. I can definitely see this being more like of a personal feud because it's always been personal with them. It's always like kept within the family. It's never really been outside of the family. So I can definitely see more build up with that, and I can definitely see like Rock coming back towards like the very end. Because the thing about them showing Rock again is I want to show it at the right moment. They don't want to just keep mentioning like, oh yeah, Rock said this, Rock said that. Like once Rock shows up, because then you know the story is going to be taken to like a whole new level. And then when Roman comes back, the story is going to be taken to a whole new level. So this is going to be some things going on where you got Solo and Tama Tonga, and then you got Jimmy by himself, not knowing what to do. He's going to try going to Jay. Jay's not going to give a shit. Yeah. That's where you start building up the story like little by little, which I'm really looking forward to.
Agree. I am too. Fully agree. I fully agree with both of you for tonight's SmackDown. It was pretty good. I'm glad it exceeded my expectations for the night. Always love when that happens, but hopefully you guys in the chat had a good night and enjoyed some fun conversation, because hey, this was a lot of fun tonight, wasn't it, everybody?
It was a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone continues subscribing, like the video, like the stream. Comment below during the stream if you're watching the VOD. Comment below your thoughts, what you thought about SmackDown after Mania, and continue supporting us because we're multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube. So if you're watching us on Twitch, we appreciate you. Continue that follow. If you're watching on YouTube, continue subscribing. Thank you very much as always for the support, and we'll continue being live every Monday and Thursday, every Monday and Friday, and soon for the Anime Lately podcast Invincible Season 2 review. So stay tuned for that.
Exactly. It is coming. Don't you all worry. But thank you as always for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do what Vash did? Follow the socials. They're in the description here on YouTube. Go follow us. Go talk to us. Use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring. We would love to talk to you, discuss things. Heck, maybe you guys have some feedback for us. That would be great, because we would love to continue making this show better, not only for ourselves, but you guys hanging out with us, whether you're live here in the chat. I mean, heck, tonight we had Ryback in the chat. He even said he was going to beat up Cody Rhodes next week. So, hey, tune in to SmackDown next week to see Ryback versus Cody Rhodes for the Woo title. But yes, as always, thanks to our production staff of Vash, Watkins, Drop This Box, Rome with a dot with the awesome logo, and of course
a big shout out to his music release as well.
Yes, go check it out. Hopefully, Vash, quick, put the link to it in the description below, or the chat, either one. So, yes, please go check it out. It is a bop, let me tell you. And also Jokester, who will be giving us some gaming content here. Very soon. Of course, as always, JB and Abe, we love you guys. Thank you for helping out. And thank you once again for joining us. And remember, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a great time of day whenever you listened to this.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.